You're listening to Potty Mouth Radio, the home of movies, music, television, and comedy.
And now, the hunt for the perfect album.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Hunt for the Perfect Album with Billy and Dave, where this week it was Dave's pick to throw an album at me. And why don't you tell the people what it is you gave me, buddy?
Well, I know what a fan you are of folk music and kind of gentle indie pop. So I gave you Sabbath!
Yes, Black Sabbath, Paranoid. Tell me about your relationship with Sabbath, because obviously I know some songs, but as you know, I wasn't familiar with this album. I can't say I've ever listened to a Sabbath album. I know very little. Like, where does this sit in their discography? Are we talking
this
early Sabbath?
It's the second album, generally regarded as kind of their pinnacle of the first. I want to say like 5 albums. That you've got the period where before Ozzy Osbourne left, which is 5 albums, I think, something like that. And then you've got the Ronnie James Dio period, which is also good, and then there's the rest, which is, without pissing anyone off, forgettable, and leave it alone. Everyone thought the band would implode when Ozzy left, and then Dio came in. Dio fucking smashed it out of the park, and you've got like a kind of like when Brian Johnson joined AC/DC after Scott died. You've got a kind of a second period, which is equally great, but people have opinions vary.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, that first period with Ozzy Osbourne is almost universally seen as the heyday. It's kind of like the, Deep Purple when you still had Ian Gillan and Richie Blackmore in there. It's kind of the magic period. First album was great. This album came along and kind of raised the bar, and then you've got a few other Master of Reality. You've got some other great albums in there, but yeah.
So I did not have like a lot of idea about what to expect from this album.
You said you'd heard some Sabbath. Did you just kind of have this, as I did before I listened to any albums, and I had never listened to Black Sabbath, knew nothing about them. I was a massive Henry Rollins fan. It's Henry Rollins' favorite band of all time, and I used to listen to a lot of Rollins' spoken word, where he would and I got some of my favorite albums I got from him just talking about albums that he loved as a kid.
Yeah.
Sabbath, he loved. Boston's first album, I'd never heard of Boston, went and listened to that. One of my favorite albums.
Yeah.
My hatred of U2 came from Rollins.
Not just from how much U2 fucking suck.
No. I the only U2 song I knew was Pride, which I kind of liked, and then but I deliberately sought out Black Sabbath because Rollins would routinely talk about how they and the Ramones, both bands I came to from his spoken word in the very early 90s. And I went and sought out Sabbath and, loved them. Came to, I think this was the first album I ever listened to in its entirety, because Paranoid, the song, is kind of one of their big, if not the biggest song. So that's how I came to it. But before that, I kind of had this image. I knew the name Black Sabbath, but much like Megadeth, Metallica, Judas Priest, I'd never heard any of them as a teenager. I just had this kind of image of them as scary, heavy metal.
Yes, same. That was my thing. Yeah, I was expecting it to be like way, way thrashier than it was, and I should have known better, because this album's from 1970. This album's really from a time where before thrash metal kind of even existed.
Once I got to know them, I kind of have I don't think of them as heavy metal. I have
No,
them
this
in the
is
same camp as Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple.
Led
metal for
Zeppelin
me
is who I was
later.
gonna call to. This album is
Yeah.
much closer to a Led Zeppelin album, and obviously not. This doesn't include any of the kind of folk elements that Led Zeppelin sometimes did. This
a
more,
little,
yeah,
but it's on the slightly heavier side, I guess.
yeah, but yeah, I agree. I would not call this a heavy metal album. I'd call this a rock album, and I'm just gonna get straight into it. Loved this album.
Just like witches at black masses, evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction, in the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning, death and hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds. Oh Lord, yeah.
This album's metal in the same way that some people would call Kiss metal, which I don't understand how anyone could call Kiss metal.
Yeah.
And honestly, I loved this album. I loved it. It's a short, tight album. I mean, I say that the songs are long, but there's only 8 songs, and there's only one track that I didn't love.
Ooh, interesting.
And even then, there's nothing that I didn't like. I think this album is pretty fucking great, and I'm definitely going to go listen to some more Sabbath.
Attaboy.
I mean, obviously there was one song at least from this album that I'd heard, because everybody knows Iron Man.
Oh, okay. I was wondering whether it's so you hadn't heard Paranoid, you don't think?
I don't think I had, no.
Wow. That's
No.
wild to me.
Yeah. What's your favourite track from the album?
Maybe Fairies Wear Boots.
Yeah, okay. Right.
Hard to say. I do love Electric Funeral and obviously Paranoid See, War Pigs was going to be like the lead single, and the album was going to be called, I mean, it was originally going to be called Walpurgis, but it was War Pigs was what they wanted the name of the album to be. It was the label, I think, that said, nah, Paranoid's going to be a hit. We're calling the album Paranoid. They created the album cover with that shitty photo of the soldier dude, which the band fucking hated.
Yeah.
It's weird, They didn't. It's the album is not called what the band wanted. The album cover they hated.
Yeah.
It's not, the lead single is not what they wanted.
Yeah, right.
And yet, kind of the quality of the songs kind of carried it through. But I'm very keen to know what your favorite track was, and also the one that you didn't like.
Well, we're getting to it. Planet Caravan, I don't love. Just not for me. And I know that we reach a point where we get the turn, but that point,
you said that, I can kind of see that. It's not the one I would have picked though, because I know you like dreamy shit.
I do to a certain extent. I don't know. My my dreaminess needs a little bit more pop to it.
Yeah.
Like dream pop. It's a bit
more like
flat.
Mushrooms one day.
Exactly. This is a bit like you have to be in a certain mindset to enjoy it.
It's a weird moment of psychedelia in an otherwise
That's right.
pretty rockin' album.
And I think that's what I don't like about it. It's such a weird flat moment in the midst of all of this. I mean, it's sandwiched there in between Paranoid and Iron Man.
Zeppelin moment though.
What's that? Sorry.
It's possibly their most Zeppelin moment.
That's
it's a
true.
track I feel would fit better on like Song Remains, Houses of the Holy or something than on a Sabbath album.
That's true. That's true. Look, obviously, Iron Man, like I said, everybody's heard. Then we get to the final 4 tracks, which I think might be one of the best runs on an
so
album
good.
that you've given me, because
love
at each point I was like, oh, no, that's my favorite song. No, I think that one's my favorite song. Until we reach a point. But I think all 4 of these last songs is just so good.
Reflex in the sky, warn you, you're gonna die. Storm coming, you better hide from the atomic tide. Flashes.
Yeah, I really, really enjoy the entire rest of this album. So you think Fairies Wear Boots is your favorite?
I think so.
Because I like that song, but once we hit Rat Salad, that was where my peak was met, and I was like, no, this.
Instrumental.
Oh man, when you get to that fucking 2-minute long drum solo, and I'm not gonna lie, I did hit a point where I was like, I think this might be too long on the drum solo, because it just keeps going, and then even when the rest of the instruments come back, you're like, okay, and then it goes back into another drum solo. But I do really.
That might be Bill Ward's finest moment in the entire career. You're just like, yeah, Bill, we're all going out for a pint.
Yeah. Just keep whacking the drums for a minute. It's just fun, man. It's so air guitar-y.
I mean, in kind of rock guitar circles, Tony Iommi's got a fairly exalted status, but I think in the broader musical world, Tony Iommi doesn't get enough fucking credit as what a ripping guitarist he is.
Yeah.
He's so fucking good.
Yeah. No, honestly, this is a great album. I'm really, really glad that you gave it to me. Would you suggest after this going back to their first, like if I'm going to dive deeper into Sabbath, where should I go next? And also, are there any of these other bands that I've been avoiding because I thought maybe they'd be scary? Should I listen to some solo Aussie stuff?
Oh, look, I Gerald Morris is the guy, or Nick Askins will be able to guide you a bit more there. I know Crazy Train or whatever it's called. I don't know much Aussie solo stuff. I would say absolutely the first 5 Sabbath albums, the Aussie run is all great.
Yeah.
The title, the Black Sabbath, the first album, Master of Reality, and Volume 4, which is the fourth, weirdly the 4th album. And then I think Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, and I think that's possibly the last Aussie album. I don't think he's on Sabotage. But then about 4 years later, I think Dio joins as lead singer. Yeah. And Heaven and Hell, Mob Rules. Those are the 2 Dio albums, I think. They're good. Dio, Ronnie James Dio is, I can't remember if he was in my top 10 male artists when we did that with Gerald, but he was certainly in the short list. He's a fucking amazing rock singer. Ian Gillan from Deep Purple was singer for a couple of years in the 80s.
Yeah,
but
right.
I reckon the Sabbath, the Aussie stuff, those first 5 albums, start with that shit. That is all gold. Yeah. There are no dud notes on any of those albums. And then the 2 Dio albums are good. Dio rejoined back in the 90s. I don't know that period as well. Aussie rejoined. But as far as I'm concerned, there's that early period's the magic period. Stick with that shit, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, nice. All right. Well, I am I'm a 9 on this album.
Oh, attaboy, I love you.
Yeah, I mean, the only down note for me is Planet Caravan, and I think most of my issue with that is that it is just, it is a bit of a down note in an otherwise.
It's 1970. They were all on drugs. Give me a break.
So, no, big fan, and I'm going to play us out with Iron Man. But first, I guess I need to tell you what I'm giving you next week.
I'm so intrigued.
Oh shit! How do I follow this up? Let's see what I've got listed in the spreadsheet, and then see if I want to change my mind. You know what? I'm gonna stick with it. Next week, I'm gonna give you "Fashion Nugget" by Cake. You would be familiar with Cake, short skirt, long jacket. Yep.
Okay.
So this album is not the one that has that track on it.
Oh, okay.
So I don't think you'll know any, but it does have some covers that I think you'll be familiar with. So yes, I'm giving you "Fashion Nugget" by Cake, which from memory is their debut album.
I'm very intrigued. I know nothing about Cake other than the thing that you've told me is not on here.
I don't think you will find a funkier outfit than Cake. They are.
Ooh.
They're funky.
Like fucking cherry popping daddies. So that's a big deal.
All right. Well, I'm going to play us out with Iron Man.
I am Iron Man.
And we'll catch you next week.